morning, everyone. It is 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, and I am Hank Philippi Ryan, and we are live here on First Chapter Fun here on Instagram, and I think we are live on Facebook. Let me know if you see me on Facebook. That would be fun. Yes, it says live. That's very good. So leave your comments. Hi, I see two babes, and I see Sholkolnik. You have to remember Superman where they had Mr. Mitzelpick. That's what your name always reminds me of on Instagram. So nice to see you, Glennie, and nice to see you, A.H. Kim Writer, and Shannon here on Facebook. That is great. And Lynn, wonderful. I see you too. That's great. Al Pessin is here, and we will be reading from his book soon, and I am waving back at all of you. I'm still working on where to look on Facebook. Does it look like I'm looking at you if I look right here? Does it look like I'm looking at you? Tell me if it does. Because the camera always seems like it's in a different place. But anyway, welcome. And I'm getting rid of something on Facebook here. Welcome to First Chapter Fun. It is 11 a.m. EST on Thursday, and that is a day for First Chapter Fun. Let me know when, all my Facebook pals, if you'll let me know when it looks like I'm looking at you. Does it look like I'm looking at you right now on Facebook? This is driving me crazy. I see people on television and I think, why don't you look at the camera? And then I see me and I think, well, am I looking at the camera? I don't know. It's not where the green dot on my computer is, but how are you all? And how are you this launch week of my book, The First to Lie? It is crazy. You don't know. I mean, authors, you all do, how really nuts the launch week is. It's exciting. It's scary. It's ridiculous. It's like the night before the book launches is like the night before Christmas or the night before a final exam. And you think, have I done enough? Am I good enough? Will people care about this book? Will they like it? It goes out into the world, and at some point the roller coaster just starts. So I'm so honored that you are all here with me to share the launch week of The First to Lie, and also to talk about some other wonderful new books. Ellie is saying, I just finished The First to Lie and my head is spinning. That is wonderful to hear. Thank you, Ellie. It's I hope that's a good thing, the spinning head. I hope that's a good thing, and not like in The Exorcist or something like that. So how are you all? The weather has been completely insane. So now it's like the universe is saying, Hank, can you launch a book in a pandemic? How about with a tropical storm? How about with a tropical storm and power outages? Can we do that? And I'm so pleased that we all persevered through this. So do you have power? My editor emailed with an auto reply saying she has no internet. So do you have power? Do you have internet? Are you guys okay? I keep seeing stories about freezers that have lost power and people are throwing away food, and oh my golly, it seems so difficult. So I am relying on you to take care of yourself and let us know if there's anything you need. Here's Glennie and Allison and Wendy and Bex and Lynn. That's so great. And Tosca Lee is here. That is marvelous. We are reading from Tosca Lee's fabulous book today, The Line Between. Now I'm going to battle the glare. There you are on Facebook. And here it is on Instagram, The Line Between by Tosca Lee. I know I put in the video that Tosca is going to make you feel better today about our lot in life, our community lot in life, how we're living right now, because in Tosca Lee's The Line Between, you'll know that it could be a lot worse, right? It could be a lot worse. Hi, Sharon. So good to see you again, too. And Catherine and Katie, whose book we read, Dark August, a couple of weeks ago. And it's such a wonderful book and a terrific bestseller in Canada. Allison is in Kansas. She says, that's one of the pluses of being in the Northwest. No tropical storms, just tornadoes. And Hannah is here. Good morning, Hannah Mary McKinnon, and welcome. It always makes me feel so much better to see your cute little face here on First Chapter Fun. This is episode 79, if you all can believe it, of First Chapter Fun, which is really quite great and quite incredible. And if you missed any of our first chapters, you can go back to Facebook, to the videos, and to IGTV for videos, and you can see every single first chapter that Hannah and I have ever read out loud to you, which is quite amazing and quite a compendium, but that's why they're there. We know that you can't always get here at Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., days that begin with tea with Hank and Hannah. And if you can't get here, we make those videos available to you, and you will be able to see every one of the videos, and we have them far into the future, so we have lots of treats coming up for you, which is great. So thank you all for helping me with my book launch. It's a Barnes & Noble bestseller now, so I'm really thrilled about that. I mean, that is, you see the little green banner on Barnes & Noble, and that's just great. Oops, I just lost myself on Facebook. Where did that go? All right, it's back. What? I mean, we are happy with technology, and we would not be together in this community without it. Isn't that true? Which I am so happy about. But sometimes it just decides to do something very nutty. Hi, Julie Dalton, and we'll be reading from your book too, Waiting for the Night Song, coming up next year. Everybody is saying hello, Tosca Lee. Tosca is just so incredible. She's smart and wise and brilliant and kind of scary, brainy, wonderful. And she was also in the Miss America contest some years ago. And I told her when I saw her picture that she sent, I said, you know, I remember you. I remember you. I was rooting for you. So hi, Steve Avery. And I mean, it just, when I saw the picture that Tosca sent, and I know this sounds so silly, but when I saw the picture of the pageant photo that Tosca sent, I just almost burst into tears, because I really do remember you, Tosca, from those years ago. So that's great. But you have gone on to bigger and better, or different at least, things now with your fabulous writing career. So let's just get out of the way really quickly that if here on Instagram or here on Facebook, if something crashes, I know the internet is crazy because of the weather, and everything is crazy because of the weather. Don't worry, it's us, it's not you. We will come back. I will come back and read the entire first chapter again, so you will not miss a word of it, and it is riveting. Tracy DeHaan is here. Oh my goodness, the queen of the beautiful cooking. I mean, you should, Tracy's books are marvelous and elegant and gorgeous, and her cooking, every day she posts on Facebook what she made for dinner. And I'm like, we had pasta with broccoli, and Tracy's, you know, we had glossy duck breasts with snow peas and ginger. I mean, I don't know how she does it, but it's amazing. You can hear that someone is calling us now. And it's an 800 number, which I just love, right? Somebody who has, it's a robocall, and they're calling in the middle of first chapter fun. So why are they doing that? Good morning, Daisy. Good morning, Bex. Good morning, Katie Crutchfield and Jenny. You know, some of you are new. We love having new people here. And I know you are here to hear the first chapter of Tosca Lee's, I'm getting the book again, Tosca Lee's The Line Between. So Hannah Mary McKinnon is here, and Tracy is here, and Amy Dillingham is here. Welcome, and thank you all for being here. Did you get to see this, The Line Between? It's very creepy, and you can see someone running to something or someone running away from something. That's what we will have to find out. Yes, Allison, this is your first chapter fun. That's great, and you couldn't have come on a better day. This is just a wonderful time to see you. So let me tell you a little bit about Tosca Lee, our guest for today. I'm just going to make sure that I've said hi to everyone. Hi. It is a great kind of cover, Hannah. It's really insidious and sinister, and now I'm playing with Facebook again because it's gone away. Insidious and sinister, and so much action and so much conflict instantly on the cover itself. I'm still bugged because I don't know whether I'm looking right at you, so will you please tell me in the if I look right here, am I looking right at you, or is it really right here? I'll have to work on this. Anyway, let me tell you all about Tosca Lee. Again, this is episode 79 of First Chapter Fun, and we are so pleased to see you all here today. So many people. That's very nice. Thank you. I'm just looking at the little numbers here, and that's marvelous. Hey, Susan from Nina. Yes, Catherine, it is a terrific. And James, hey, how are you? All right, I'm going to stop saying hi because Lynn is saying, I love that beautiful stack of books behind you. My fingers are crossed that I'm a lucky one to win a copy. Mine are too. Jen, and I'll be at the Cuyahoga Library where our darling Jen Jumma is. I'll be speaking there at 6 or 7, you tell us, Jen, on Monday, and I hope you all join us there. That would be really great to see you. I'm doing a little talk about the first to lie and about how I got to be now where I am, the craziness at age 70 and having this second career. We'll talk about that at Cuyahoga Library on Monday, and I hope you'll be there. Jen will tell us how to get there. But anyway, back to the business of the day, which is our darling and fabulous and talented Tosca Lee with her book. Jen is saying 7 p.m. at Cuyahoga Library. Good. Oh no, I've got pictures of my book up. No, we don't want that. We want Tosca. Okay. Tosca Lee's The Line Between. There we go. Now you see. Tosca Lee's The Line Between. Now here's a little bit about the fabulous Tosca. Tosca Lee is the award-winning New York Times bestselling author of 11 novels, including A Single Light, The Line Between, The Progeny, The Legend of Sheba, Iscariot, and the Books of Mortals series with the New York Times bestseller Ted Dekker. Her work has been translated into 17 languages and optioned for TV and film. A notorious night owl, which I know well, she loves movies, playing football with her kids, and sending cheesy texts to her husband, which we can now just all imagine. You can find Tosca on social media or hanging around the snack table. To learn more, please visit toscalee.com, and please do that. It's a wonderful, she has a wonderful, gorgeous, gorgeous website with lots of fun stuff on it. So The Line Between from Atria Books is out now, and you can find it anywhere you buy books. We are reading with the kind permission of her publisher, Atria Books, and also with Tosca's kind permission. So we are thrilled to be reading from this today. Wendy is saying, I have not read any of her books. Well, now is the time, and start with, I can provide you the first chapter of The Line Between this morning. Ali is saying, they have a great library in Parma, Ohio. Yes, it is great. I'm from Indiana, so I know it well. All right, so a little bit about The Line Between, which is available from Atria Books right now. In this frighteningly believable thriller from New York Times bestselling author and master storyteller Tosca Lee, an extinct disease reemerges from the melting Alaskan permafrost and causes madness in its victims. See, I told you we don't really have it that bad. For recent apocalyptic cult escapee Winter Roth, it's the end she'd always been told was coming. When Winter Roth finally escapes from New Earth, a self-contained doomsday cult on the American prairie, she emerges into a world poised on the brink of madness as a mysterious outbreak of rapid early onset dementia spreads across the nation. As Winter struggles to start over in a world she's been taught to regard as evil, she finds herself face to face with the apocalypse she's feared all her life, until the night her sister shows up at her doorstep with a set of medical samples. That night, Winter learns there's something far more sinister at play, that the prophet they once idolized has been toying with the fate of mankind, and that these samples are key to understanding the disease. Now, as the power grid fails and the nation descends into chaos, Winter must find a way to get the samples to a lab in Colorado. Uncertain who to trust, she takes up with former military man Chase Miller, who has his own reasons for wanting to get close to the samples in her possession, and to Winter herself. Filled with action, conspiracy, romance, and questions of whom and what to believe, The Line Between is a high-octane story of survival and love in a world on the brink of madness. From the queen of psychological twists, so says our dear darling best-selling author Stina Holmes, whose book we read last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So this is available from Atria Books right now. The Line Between, which is, as you can tell, is quite the astonishing page turner. So you will not want to miss this. So what I'll do is I'll read a little bit. I'm going to read the beginning, which is labeled something else, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, and then I will read chapter 1. So this is The Line Between. Okay, so at the beginning is one scene, which I will read you now. Alaskan interior, June. The farmer moved into the woods looking for his pigs. Jilly, Jilly, he called. He'd named the sow after his first wife, who'd grown about as fat as the woolly Hungarian blonde, if not quite as hairy. But unlike his ex-wife, Jilly usually came when called, which meant it must be time. The sow was expecting her third litter, and for some reason beyond his understanding, every pig in the sounder had to traipse off into the forest with her to make the farrowing a community event. He stepped over fallen tree trunks and bent to duck several others. There wasn't a single tree in this patch that was plumb. Drunken forest, the climate change people called it, a more subtle sign of the melting permafrost than the sinkholes in the town. Aside from the new buckles in his road, he didn't mind much. Warm weather meant more growing days for his new garden. Soon as the pigs got done rooting up this patch, he planned to clear the fallen trees and plant some vegetables. Just enough to beat back the high cost of fresh produce a little, maybe even sell some at the Tanana Farmers Market. Who knew? Maybe in a year or two he'd look into growing some midnight sun cannabis. Jilly girl, he called, nearly tripping over what he thought was a root until he realized it for what it was, a bone. He squatted down, tugged, and came away with half a shoulder blade, caribou by the size of it. Things still had gristle on it, leathery and black, except where a hunk had been freshly torn away. God only knew how long that thing had been buried in the mud. He stood up and kicked around, unearthing what was left of the carcass, which wasn't much. One thing he'd learned, the mafia legend held true. A dead body wouldn't stand a chance against pigs. Nor did living chickens that wandered too close to the pen. He'd learned that the hard way. He wandered deeper, hacking at the fallen trees with the shoulder blade until he finally found Jilly and Romeo and Petunia and Walter, nestled in the pine needles with a fresh litter of blonde-haired piglets, 10 in all, well above the European average and 2 more than her last litter. He patted Walter when he pushed his snout into the farmer's hand and let him have the shoulder blade, already doing the math in his head. It was going to be a good year. 2 days later, the farmer found Petunia milling around the yard with a bloody stump for a tail. She ran when he tried to inspect the wound, and only Romeo came when called. The farmer's first thought was that someone or something had terrorized the animals, a wolf maybe, or even a bear. After retrieving his shotgun from inside the house, he struck out for the wood. He found Walter sprawled near the base of a leaning tree, snout bloody, corpse bloated. Just beyond him lay his prized sow Jilly, belly torn open, her piglets savaged around her. Okay, so that's just the beginning in Alaska in June. Now, here's Iowa in October. I know, Katie is saying it sounds like a great book, and yikes, I know. Hi, sweet home girl. Hi, Lisa Peters. Here is chapter 1 now of The Line Between. Iowa, October. Conventional wisdom dictates that there's an insurmountable divide, an entire dimension of eternity and space between heaven and hell. Lucifer managed to make the trip in 9 days, at least according to Paradise Lost. That equates to a distance of about 25,920 miles, assuming the standard rules of velocity. But I can tell you it's closer to 1.5 feet, the distance of a step, give or take an inch. Magnus stands near the gatehouse, shirt sleeves rolled up, collar unbuttoned beneath his brown vest. He nods to the guardian in the booth, and the industrial gate begins its mechanical slide. There's a small door to the side of it, just large enough to admit a single person, but I won't be leaving by the narrow gate. My departure must be a spectacle, a warning to those assembled behind me. I can feel their eyes against my back like hot iron, the glares mottled by anger and fear. Sadness, maybe, but above all, gratitude that they are not me. 2 guardians stand at my side, ready to forcibly walk me out in case my 22-year-old legs give out beneath me. I glance at the one to my right and swear he looks impatient. Hungry, maybe. It's just before lunchtime. I'm crossing into eternal damnation, and all he's thinking about is an egg salad sandwich, and not even a good one. It's Wednesday, Sabbath by the solar calendar. Rosella is managing the kitchen, and that pious sandwich is full of chickpeas without a single real egg in it. The gate comes to a stop with an ominous clang. The road beyond is paved with gravel, a gray part in a sea of native grass strewn with gold and purple flowers in stark contrast to the carefully and beautifully manicured grounds behind me. A meadowlark sings somewhere nearby as a combine rumbles in the distance. I grip the plastic bag of my sparse belongings, a change of underwear, my baby book stripped of its photos, a stone the color of sea glass. Sweat drips down the inside of my blouse as I stare out at that feral scape, at that barren drive through the untouched prairie that leads to the road half a mile away. A car idles at the corner, waiting for me. Don't look back. Don't glance back. That's pride talking, a voice so faint in this last decade I wasn't aware it was still in there. Still, I turn. Not because I need a parting glance at the compound I called home for the last 15 years, or even Jacqueline, my sister, but because I need to see her, my niece, truly. I scan the nearly 700 feet. I scan the nearly 700 select assembled across the broad drive until I find her small form near the front, her hand in Jacqueline's, curls wafting around her head in the breeze. I planned to mouth the words, "I love you," to tug my right earlobe in our secret sign. She'll remember me long after she's told she can never speak my name again. To fight back tears at the sight of hers, to combat her confusion with love. Instead, my heart stops. She's glaring at me, her face pink, growing redder by the instant. I open my mouth to say what I don't know, but before I can, she tears her hand from my sister's and runs away, disappearing into the assembly. Truly, I gasp and stagger a step after her. The guardians grab my arm. No, wait, truly. I twist against them, plastic bag swinging against my thigh. I can't leave her like this, not like this. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. None of it was. I shift my gaze to my sister, where she stands beside 6 elders. Her cheeks are hollow, features chiseled far beyond her 27 years. What did you say to her? I shout as I'm jerked back around and hauled toward Magnus, who stands before the open gate, this side of that invisible line. Winter Roth, Magnus says, loudly enough for those behind us to hear, which means he's basically shouting right at me. Gone the brown and gray scruff that was on his chin yesterday. I can smell his aftershave from here. Please, I whisper into the space between us, trying to snag his gaze. But he stares past me as though I were a stranger. Because of your deliberate, prolonged disobedience, his words carry to those behind me, even as the breeze whisks mine away. Just let me say goodbye, including the sins of idolatry, thievery, and the willful desire to harm the eternal future of those most vulnerable among us, because you will not hear the pleas of the brethren and refuse repentance. You are hereby delivered to Satan for the destruction of your flesh. I hear the words as though spoken from a distance. I've seen and heard them spoken before. I just never thought they'd be aimed at me. So this is it. There will be no goodbyes. And I realize I hate him. Magnus lifts up his hands. And so we renounce your fellowship and cast you out of our holy number, even as we pray for the restoration of your salvation, which you forfeit this day. Now as it is bound on earth, so let it be bound in heaven. He lowers his arms as the assembly echoes his words and says more quietly as he meets my eyes at last, you have broken our hearts, Winter. He moves away before I can respond, and the guardians walk me to the line as I glance back one more time, but truly is gone. I face the gravel drive before me. One step, that's all it takes to span the distance of eternity. Welcome to hell. Okay, so someone is having quite a day. Winter is having quite a day. And it is so, I mean, do you have chills? I know Allie's going, ah, Hannah Mary McKinnon's going, ah, that face. I mean, oh no, Allison is going, I mean, there's just nothing. It is so scary and so terrifying and so sinister and so absolutely authentic sounding. You know, I hope Tosca hasn't escaped like that from a cult. This is the author talking. This is deep down imagination, and she really takes us there. It quite scary. Daisy saying, your reading made the story come alive. I felt like I was witnessing the occurrence. You know, it's interesting because one of the things that, and thank you, one of the things that really makes a book wonderful, and Tosca Lee does this so brilliantly in The Line Between. I mean, you can understand why this has been optioned for movies and television, because it is so cinematic. Can't you see? I mean, it wasn't my reading. It was the words. It was her words. The balance of the inner and the outer, the emotion and the terror and the fear and the not quite sure if someone is doing a right thing, and that anger like hot iron into her back. You can really feel that. So I'm hoping that you will look for The Line Between wherever books are sold. I hope that we got you hooked on Tosca Lee's wonderful book, and we are so grateful to Atria and to the fabulous Tosca for letting us read it here today. It is great. Julie says, I'm hooked. Can you just keep reading? I don't have plans for several hours. Yes, you do. Julie Dalton, you should find her Instagram page, and I thank you for the compliment. Julie Dalton is making masks, face masks, for that mirror books, and she made one for me that was she made one for me that said, that was a cereal box that said serial killer. And, you know, this is Julie Dalton's humor. And we will be reading, as I said, from her book when it comes out next year. So Lynn says, I could still have you and Hannah read to me all day. Yeah, it's kind of great. Hannah and I have teamed up during the pandemic to bring you these first chapters. And, you know, the pandemic, what could possibly be worse in the universe? And we try to find something wonderful somewhere in it. And I really do think that Hannah and I getting together, Hannah starting First Chapter Fun, bringing all of you in has just been a joy. So I know you all have to get back to your real lives. Look what we have for you on Tuesday. Liza Nash Taylor's Etiquette for Runways. Liza Nash Taylor's Etiquette for Runways. Look at that. The Jazz Age in Paris. The Jazz Age in Paris. Do we take you great places or what? From a cult in Iowa to the Jazz Age in Paris. I hope you are enjoying First Chapter Fun. Jen is saying, where can we buy those masks? Just go look at them at Julie Dalton's page, her Instagram page. Julie Dalton, you can see what her address is on the list. Anyway, Jenny, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. She says, it's my first time here. So fun. It is so fun. So thank you so much, Tosca Lee, for letting us read from The Line Between. It's so scary and so sinister. On Tuesday, come back and you will hear Etiquette for Runaways. Etiquette for Runaways, set in Jazz Age Paris. So much fun. Yes, it is such a pleasure, Hannah. And Wendy, we will see you then, all of you. We will see you then. I will try to figure out where to look. So I'm looking right at you. You guys are driving me crazy, not telling me. Until then, until Tuesday, have a wonderful weekend. There are still weekends, right? We have to keep our weekends. So stay safe, stay kind, and we will see you next time. Love you.